Oh, hi there. Let's face it, your drums aren't slapping as hard as they should be.
Get out of here, Slapsy! Don't be disrespectful, jeez! Hi, in this video, I'm going to explain 7 easy tricks to make your drums punch so they really cut through the mix and sound professional. These are the things I wish I knew 20 years ago when I first started producing music. I'm Danny B, and this is the Music Production Lab. Let's get to it. First and foremost, make sure you have the right drum samples for your mix. If you don't, you'll be doomed from the get-go. These are the best ways, in my opinion, to get quality samples. Your DAW factory libraries. Websites with free downloadable samples. Splice. It's amazing. It's subscription-based, but it has everything you can think of, like this. Create your own samples. Synthesize your own drums, record acoustic drums, or record random sounds around the house and tweak them to turn them into drums. Purchase sample packs. With all of these other options, you probably don't need to do that, but I'm listing it anyways because there are some really solid sample packs out there. Okay, so now you have some quality samples. So how do we make those drums punch? Like really just slam. First, consider, now this is going to be mind-blowing, make them louder. I had to say it. Listen to your mix and pay attention to the different elements. Focus only on the kick drum for a little bit, then focus on only the snare, then on the hi-hats. Ask yourself if any of those drums could use a slight boost in relation to the rest of the mix. You can also lower the levels of the other layers if you're running low on headroom.
Your drums still suck.
Get out of here, Slapsy! I'm getting to the good stuff now. The next way to make your drums punchier is to add compression to the tail of your drums. Not like actual tails, but I'm referring to the part of the drum after the initial hit. You can use compression to make the tail quieter compared to the initial hit. This will add more smack to your drums. To do this, just slap a compressor onto your drums, adjust the threshold to be below the peak of the transient, and play with the attack timing so the tail of the drum is impacted, but the initial hit or the transient isn't. This might be somewhere around 50 milliseconds. Add a little makeup gain, adjust your ratio and other settings to taste, and you're all set. You can see visually how the compressor is impacting your drums by resampling onto another layer like so. If you want to learn more about compressors, I made a whole video about that. Check out that video here. The link is in the description below. The next way to make your drums punchier, and one of my favorites, is to use sidechaining. A really common method in electronic music is to sidechain the bass to the kick drum, because they're both competing for the same space in those low frequencies. So when the kick drum hits, the bass will get quieter for a moment. You can sidechain any layers you want, like just the bass only, or other layers as well. Sidechaining the kick helps that kick cut through the mix so it's nice and clear. You can also sidechain to the snare or the hi-hats to help them cut through as well.
Okay, sounds great. How do we do it?
To sidechain, add a compressor to the layer you want to impact. If you want to sidechain more than one layer, first group those layers together and add a compressor to the group. Your stock compressor should work fine. Tell the compressor what will trigger the sidechain effect. In this case, and more often than not, it's the kick drum. Drop the threshold below the kick peaks. Crank the ratio. A fast attack and release work well for the effect. And you'll need to play around with the compression settings to get the sound that you're looking for. This is without sidechain compression. And this is with sidechain compression. You can also use LFO Tool, Shaperbox, Kickstart, or other plugins that are meant for sidechaining. If you want the effect to be more subtle, you can use a multi-band compressor and sidechain only specific frequencies. Multi-band compression is a game changer. It allows you to control compression and sidechain parameters separately for the different frequency bands. This is useful, say, if you wanted to let most of the higher end of your bass through, but you wanted to squash the low end to make room for the low end of the kick. And if you don't want to use a compressor for whatever reason, you can always use brute force and manually automate the volume of the layers that you want to sidechain. It sounds tedious, but it's really not as bad as it sounds if you don't mind using copy and paste a lot. And similar to tools like the LFO tool, this volume automation method sounds cleaner than sidechaining with compression. Another way to make your drums more punchy is to add saturation. A little bit of saturation goes a long way because it adds compression and harmonic enhancement. Another good way to make your drums hit harder is to find the frequency of that drum that is the most prominent. This is called the fundamental frequency, and add a slight boost at that frequency. Note that some samples don't need the boost, so as you're playing with the EQ to try this out, use your ears to decide if it helps or not. And last but not least, another great technique to make your drums punch is to use parallel compression. Think of it like creating a duplicate track and adding effects to it, and then blending that duplicate track with the original track until it sounds good. This can be achieved using return tracks or effect rack chains. I'll describe the return track method. Add a return track. Add a compressor to the return track. Drop the attack and release, crank the ratio, drop the threshold, and add some makeup gain. I like to add an EQ to cut the low frequencies and prevent muddiness. Next, blend in the super crushed parallel track until it sounds good to your ears. And here's a comparison before and after the parallel compression. And those are some easy ways to make your drums more punchy and cut through the mix.
I approve.
Thanks, Slapsy. Try them out and let me know which techniques are your favorite in the comments below.
Like and subscribe for more content.
I'm Danny B, and this is the Music Production Lab. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.